Thank you, Allah, for blessing me with Islam. Thank you, Allah, for blessing me with Islam.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen, amma ba'd, fa'a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim, as-salatu wassalamu alayka ya Rasulallah, wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Habiballah, as-salatu wassalamu alayka ya Nabiyallah, wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Nurallah. My dear viewers of Madani channel, welcome back to Learn Your Faith series. Yes, we are back here to discuss some of the important matters that relate to the new Muslim community worldwide. If you were with us in the previous sessions, you will be aware that we discuss some of the challenges that new Muslims face in the modern societies. And we've discussed two important sessions in the previous parts relate to the difficulties the new Muslims find when learning the Islamic education. So we've talked about the 5 pillars, especially we discussed the difficulties they find to comprehend and understand the Islamic beliefs and how to pray Salah 5 times a day, the experience of Ramadan, the journey of Hajj. Today, we want to talk about another important matter, but before that, let's move to introduce our panel today. We have beautiful lineup as usual. On my right side, we have Brother Yusuf, who's joined us from London. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallahu khaira, Brother Yusuf. It's a pleasure to see you again. Thank you for coming. How are you doing today?
Alhamdulillah ala kulli hal.
MashaAllah, subhanallah, nice to see you again. He looks very energetic today. I'm sure he's got things to say today, inshallah. Oh, Brother Bilal, he's got a beautiful smile as usual. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
How are you doing, Brother Bilal?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very happy. I'm very pleased to be here.
Alhamdulillah. Brother Bilal has joined us all the way from Doncaster. We pray for Brother Bilal's health. May Allah give him more strength in his health and his iman, inshallah, so he can keep going, keep walking, keep doing the work of deen, inshallah. Towards my heart, towards the left side, we have our beautiful, the shining star, Brother Noor, subhanallah, from all the way from Bolton. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam.
How are you doing, Brother Noor?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very good.
Subhanallah, mashallah. Brother, you're looking smart today. Mashallah. That's great. Today, as we discussed earlier as well, we have been discussing the difficulties the new Muslim community finds in learning the Islamic education. Before we discuss today's topic, I want to also make our viewers aware that generally the revert community, those who embrace Islam, they have a lot of passion, a lot of energy in them. They have the drive inside them that wants them to learn the Islamic knowledge. They want to do it. And sometimes they have the commitment as well. But maybe because they don't have the means, they don't have the tools, they don't have the facilities around them who could help them and nurture them with Islamic education, that's why most of the time they struggle. One of the dreams of a revert brother or a sister is to be able to recite the glorious Quran, the guidance for the mankind in the Arabic language. They want to be able to do that. And they have this yearning, and they put their effort as well. They try their best. They do study the Quran in translation, in commentaries, but they have that dream inside them. It's like, you could say like a goal for the life. They want to be able to recite Quran in the Arabic language. And, could you, describe, any of you brothers, if you could describe what type of feeling do they go through when they have that yearning inside them that they want to be able to recite Quran in the Arabic language? Brother Bilal.
Alhamdulillah, the feeling is that we are seeking the advice and guidance of our Creator. And to be able to turn to any page in the Quran and read in Arabic and understand is a tremendous blessing. And it probably is that most reverts to Islam it is one of their ultimate objectives. I've been fortunate that I've had some good tuition, but I'm still learning. I still cannot turn to any page and read with confidence. I'm still learning, but there is one surah in particular, Surah Rahman, and this surah, it almost makes me weep when I hear this surah, because it is so beautiful. And I'm sure our viewers will know the Surah Rahman and understand it. And the desire to learn and the desire to understand. And because in life, most people will ask themselves 3 questions. They will ask themselves, where did I come from? Why am I here? And where am I going? And they try to seek the answer to these questions in the big wide world. But the answers are in the Quran.
Allahu Akbar, subhanallah. But Bilal has put it very beautifully. He said that for a revert, for a new Muslim, it is you could say it's the ultimate goal, that they want to be able to recite the glorious Quran in the Arabic language, and also to be able to understand it as it is the kalam, it is the words of our Almighty Allah, subhanallah. How would you describe that feeling, that yearning, that passion inside them, that they want to learn the Quran?
I think the desire to learn the Quran is deep in the heart of all Muslims, reverts, and Muslims who have been born Muslims. I'm very fortunate that I had a great lot of tuition when I reverted, because going to Fazan Medina the day after I reverted, I started the journey there every day, learning how to recite the Arabic alphabet, and to learn within 4 months the Islamic the prayer. And that was the great target, because I was going to go to visit Karachi and that year, and 4 months after I reverted, I was able to recite the prayer in Arabic, and also to recite some of the surahs, for some of the last 10 surahs of the Quran, which is imprinted in my heart more and more as I carry on my daily task as a practicing Muslim. But I think most reverts, they really need great tuition, great loving towards the learning of the Quran, because some people, when they revert, they say, you know, I become a Muslim, and that's full stop. Nothing happens after that. They don't think about really what it really means to be a Muslim, that is a lifestyle which includes prayer, includes the reading of the Holy Quran, and understanding all the Islamic beliefs. And so when somebody becomes a Muslim, this is a great task. And for some, it could be a burden, because they only want to do one step, and they don't want to do the full journey, which will take them to the end of their life and towards paradise, which is the journey of being a Muslim. And so I see the few Muslims in various stages, but they need encouragement and loving and nurturing in order that they may facilitate the facilities which we have in Dawat Islami for understanding, for learning and knowledge of all branches of Islam.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Brother Yusuf, what would you like to say, and how would you describe the passion that a revert has to learn the Quran?
When someone enters Islam, a majority of people that enter Islam are 100% sure and certain that this is the only way to the Creator. And their main objective is to, of course, Allah has spoken to us in another language that majority of people won't be able to speak, like in the West, in Europe or in America or South America or wherever you may be. So, and there are many reasons why the Quran came in Arabic. And the main objective of a revert is to learn the Quran, to recite it and to understand it. But that in itself can be difficult because it's something completely new. There are no Roman letters in the Quran. It's a completely new concept to a revert.
In fact, if you go to the markets and you go to the bookshops, you'll find translations of the Quran. But in fact, the transliterations, the Roman text that you mentioned, you do find them. But what a lot of people don't understand, that the Quran, the scholars of Islam, they are the guidance for us. They tell us, how to live our life according to the Quran. So whenever you're struggling, whenever you have issues, you should always, divert towards the scholars and ask them for guidance. And in this particular point, as you mentioned, the transliterations, a lot of revert community, a lot of new Muslim brothers and sisters out there, they probably have a Quran, or they probably have used a Quran that has transliterations. But the issue with transliteration is that it is very difficult to differentiate the letters that you are reading. For example, in the Arabic alphabet, there is a letter called Ayn, and there's a letter Hamza, which is A. So if both letters have the vowel Zabar, for example, if they have A, the movement A to it, so with the Ayn has a Zabar and the Hamza has a Zabar, both of them, and you were to read them, with Zabar in the Urdu language or Fatha in the Arabic language, or if you were to raise the sound of that letter, you will read, with letter Hamza, you will read A. With letter Ayn, you'll say Ah. It's a different sound. A and Ah. But if you were to write that in transliteration, it's not easy. Okay, you might put a little scratch on top, a little symbol on top to make it different. But will the rest of the community understand your key, your code to that transliteration? That's not necessary. Also, okay, you've done it for when it's the sound, when you open the mouth and raise the sound for ah. What if there's a kasra or a zair at the bottom to make it flat sound? How would you put that? It gets complicated.
It's the same with, for example, Qaf and Kaf.
Yeah, letter Qaf and Kaf.
If you put in the Roman letters in the transliteration K or Q, they're both pronounced the same, king, queen.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? But the person trying to understand it, he wouldn't understand, or she wouldn't understand how to say it.
On this matter, the scholars have given us the guidance that please refrain from reading Quran from transliteration. And it's not difficult. It's not difficult to learn the Quran in the Arabic language. If you go to any local community, local masjid around you, you'll find the children at the age of 4, 5, 6-year-olds. They don't know. They have never learned the Quran before in their life. Yeah, they go to the madrasa, the local tuition center, and they keep going on daily basis, 4 or 5 days a week, 1 hour at least, and they spend good 4, 5, 6 months or even longer, depending on the speed of the student. They pick up, and a time comes this child is able to recite the Quran in the Arabic language. Similarly, for a revert brother, for a new Muslim brother or a sister out there, the rule is same. You will have to you have to go out there and take part in the natural process of learning. You have to have one-to-one tuition, or seek advice from the local masjid, and get someone who has good Arabic recitation, who has good command in the Arabic language, especially for the recitation of Quran. He's a good qari. If you can get some time from him, even if it's once or twice a week, yeah, and you go there regularly, you study with that individual, then inshallah, with the mercy of Allah, a time will come that you will be able to recognize the Arabic alphabet. And the day you're able to recite, you're able to recognize the Arabic alphabet, from that moment, you can open the Quran from any page, and touch any line, touch any letter, you will be able to recite the letters. You will be able to recognize them. If I was to ask you to read all the letters in a verse, you will be able to do that, because you've got that command, you've got the recognition of each letter of the Arabic alphabet, and that's the difficult part. Once you can crack that code, then the rest is easy. The rest is learning the movements, a few rules, and it just takes on. And you have, there's a beautiful book that's available, if those who want to check up on the internet as well, Madani Qaida. Madani Qaida. It's available in the English language as well. If you can use that book, it's got 22 lessons. Yeah, 22 lessons. If you were to learn one lesson a week for 22 weeks, within half a year, less than half a year, you'll be able to master the basics of Arabic recitation. And if you can recite the Madani Qaida, correctly, if you can have a command in reciting this, you pass the test at the end, I'm very confident that you will be, you'll have the authority, you'll be able to recite the Quran, fluently without need of anyone else's help. And this is the key thing. So we all need to work more. We have to put extra efforts in. Brother Bilal is itching to say something. Come on then, Brother Bilal.
I'm very fortunate that I have the great pleasure of working in the madrasa. And so I understand the principle of teaching with the Qaida. And as you correctly mentioned, in the Qaida there are 22 lessons. And I've realized, and I've been told, that the most important lesson is the first lesson, knowing the alphabet, learning. And as we've mentioned in previous discussions, when someone reverts to Islam, they're like a newborn baby. So, for example, I think the minimum age in most madrasas is probably 5, 6 years old. So someone who has reverted to Islam for 5 years, he can put himself in the position of the youngster. And the fundamental thing is continuation. If you think, I will learn 1 week and then I'll have a day off, and there must be continuation, because lack of continuation tends to make the scholar a little lazy. Not a word I like to use, but this happens. So continuation is very important. And the beauty is that the Qaida, you transfer from the Qaida to the Quran. Once you've completed the Qaida and you go on to the Quran, I'm not saying forget the Qaida, because the Qaida is your original source of learning, but it's such a beautiful feeling to think, I've completed the Qaida, I'm now on the glorious Quran.
But here I want to highlight an issue. That a lot of revert brothers or sisters out there, they probably, they get stuck on stage 1. They struggle to comprehend the Arabic alphabet. I think there's too much. It's difficult. There's something that they've never seen. For example, if we were to learn the Chinese language, to us it's all symbols. Yeah, at the beginning, we won't be able to learn that. First of all, we won't have that energy, to learn this alphabet. But the second thing, if we were to try our best, there's symbol for us, and they're just pictures. And a lot of people, they struggle on level 1. They don't get to level 2. They don't get to the second lesson. They struggle at level 1, even if they spend 2, 3, 4 weeks. But they're not able to, continue. Now, what would you like to say to those individuals who find it difficult to recognize the Arabic alphabet?
Perseverance, persevere. And an alphabet is an alphabet. Most reverts to Islam, in their early childhood, they learnt the English alphabet. They had to do. You were taught it at school. So, as we know, in the Arabic alphabet, there are certain. The word in is punctuation marks, zab, pesh.
The movements.
The movements, and I think this is a situation where they revert to Islam, learning the Qaeda, and for the purpose of reading the glorious Quran. It can be given too much in one go,
Yeah, some people, on the first day, they want to be able to recite the whole alphabet, 6, 7 lines. They just want to learn all of it all at once. They want to know it. And sometimes, if you're rushing too fast, it's not good for you. Too much information sometimes is harmful for you. Yeah, that's what happens. When they try to take in too much all at once, then it doesn't stick in their minds. So in that case, what they should do, go with the pace that's better for them. And do it slowly.
Yes.
Do it slowly, because each day that you goes past, you want to move forward. It needs to be better than the previous day.
And also, I think learning as a revert, if you can learn with just 2 or 3 of you together, is so much easier, I think, than on your own. You go to the lesson at the masjid, and then you go home, and then you've got to formulate the sound of each letter, and you wonder whether you have made the right sound yourself because you're on your own. And sometimes, therefore, you can make mistakes. So it's better to be with a small group rather than singly.
But even then, you've had that one-to-one session with someone, but after that, I would encourage those brothers or sisters out there that go alone as well. Spend 15, 20 minutes alone. You've had that one-to-one session with someone, but go alone, sit down and practice it yourself, even if you're alone. At the beginning, you will make mistakes, but the key thing is to get the habit, to get used to that habit, that momentum. So at the beginning, you'll pick up some words, you might say them wrong at the beginning, but when you go back to the teacher again the next day, and now when the teacher corrects you, it will stick to your mind and it will stay there. Because you've been practicing that letter so much, you've been thinking about it. So now any fine-tuning that your teacher needs to do, it'll easily help you to amend it, inshallah.
But on the Madani Qaida app on the internet, you can download this app and you can listen to the sounds of the...
Subhanallah, subhanallah. What a beautiful direction that you've just given to the brothers and sisters out there. If you don't have a tutor, if you're looking for someone to help you to recite the Quran in the Arabic language, then the key book that we mentioned earlier is Madani Qaida. And alhamdulillah, the IT department of Dawat Islami has made learning Quran easy for us as well. They've developed a software, an application for the Madani Qaida, which is available on App Store and other social media platforms as well. You can download this app, Madani Qaida application, and you will be able to learn at your own pace with audio sound to help you as well. So you'll be able to click on the first letter and it will make the sound alif. Click on the second one, it will say ba. Third one, ta. Fourth one, tha. You will hear the sounds. And until you've mastered one letter, don't move on to the next. Don't just go and that you want to listen to all the letters. No, stick to one. Yeah, alif. That shape, that one line going down, the name of that letter is alif. Until it doesn't stick in your mind, don't move on to the next. So keep repeating that 10 times, 15 times, 20 times, until you got, you know, good grip of it. Like that, what you could do line by line. So one day, just line one. Just don't go far. Just stop yourself and keep repeating, keep repeating. Repetition is the key, especially for the Arabic recitation. The key is repetition. You have to repeat as much as you can, and the more you repeat at the beginning, the more, you know, strength you gain in your recognition of the Arabic alphabet and the movements. You know, you mentioned Zabar, Zair, Pesh, Fatha, Dhamma, Kasra. You know, the more recognition you have of these in basic rules of tajweed, the essential rules to recite Quran, then the rest will become easy for you. The rest is just adding one, add one is two, add two is four. It just carries on. You know, it links from behind. But if the beginning is weak, you're going to find it difficult. Brother Bilal?
I've just had a thought, and I think we do need to mention this. The fact that learning the Quran and reading the Quran should and will bring us much closer to our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because who was the Quran revealed to? And if we feel this in our hearts, we feel the joy, then I'm sure that would give us the tawfiq to learn.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. You reminded me of another beautiful narration, and there's no doubt, you know, what you said, that's a motivator, and this one I'm going to share with you is also an inspiration, that those who struggle to recite Quran, and they still keep putting the efforts in, they still work hard, their mistakes are, you know, you could say they're kept away. Yeah, they're not counted. They don't get sins. Yeah, during the period that he's still learning, but he's actually putting the effort in. During that period, you know, until he's mastered it and he's got a class in place, he's learning, he's putting the efforts in, but he's struggling to decide the letters. The actual sound is not coming out from the origin, but he's putting the efforts in, he's trying. And during this period, you know, his recitation, the mistakes that he has in the recitation, they will be forgiven. What more do you want? Look at the mercy of Allah Almighty. Subhanallah. And also, you know, if you find it difficult, then I want you to more put the efforts in. Why? Because the more difficult act that is, the more reward it will hold for you.
You get double reward for for reading it really slowly, the Quran, right?
But for those who are struggling,
you
know, who stutter or struggle to decide, and they still put the efforts in, they still, you know, have requested the teacher, they still requested a teacher for the assistance. They have a class in place, but overall they're struggling. This is especially for those, you know, who think it's too difficult, it's not for me, I can't do it. And sometimes 5, 10, 15 years go past, someone embraced Islam, they're still at level 1. That's because they didn't continue. They started something off. They probably started off 10 times, 20 times in that period, but they never, you know, were able to finish it off. And that's the biggest mistake we do. You know, we leave things uncooked. Yeah, we start cooking it. You know, we just warm it up and we just freeze it there and then. You know, we need to, when we're cooking something, don't just warm it up. Make sure it's cooked properly. It has a beautiful smell after cooking. Eat it as well. Okay, so similarly, when you're learning the Quran, it's important that you've had that goal, but now don't stop until you complete that, you know, goal. You may achieve it. Be the finisher. Be the one who is fortunate that he is able to recite the Quran in the Arabic language fluently without the help of anyone else. And if anyone listening to this program today, you know, whoever you are, whatever your background is, you know, if you were struggling to recite Quran before, please don't hold yourself back. Get off your seats, find the right person, right individual, a good qari who has good recitation of the glorious Quran. Ask them for help. Ask one person, ask 2 people, ask 3 people. There are people out there who have very good recitations and they want to help you. But if you don't ask them, they're busy in their own things. They won't find time. But the more passion you show, these individuals, they will find time for you. Alhamdulillah, there are people out there, you know, they are willing to help. There are online courses available. Dawat Islami has a department set up to help brothers and sisters worldwide to learn the Quran in the Arabic language. We have online Madrasatul Madina. So if you wish, you can sign up the online courses as well. On daily basis, half an hour class, you can have on one-to-one, on Skype or whatever medium they use, and you should be able to, that will help you, inshallah, to be able to recite the Quran. Inshallah, also, if you have any Dawat Islami centers around you, please visit those areas, visit those places, and request their brothers or sisters to give you assistance. Inshallah, they will be more than helpful for you. Inshallah, they will be willing to be the support that you need to be able to recite Quran. If you want to contact us, visit our Facebook page, Learn Your Faith, and get to us. Let us know. Where possible, we will also give a try to give you that one-to-one education that you need, one-to-one support that you need, inshallah, wherever is possible. So please keep connected. Whatever you do, keep watching Madani channel and keep yourself in a nice, clean environment. I hope that day comes in our lives that we are able to recite the glorious Quran in the Arabic language without the need of anyone else's help. Brother Bilal has something to say. We'll just come back to Brother Bilal.
I would like to say this because I believe it's so important. Allah Almighty gave us senses, the sense of sight, hearing, speaking, smelling. And the sweetest and purest sound is the sound of the correct recitation of the Quran.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. May those moments come in our lives that we are able to open the Quran and recite it and say those words that were revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, those words that are the guidance for us, inshallah. Before we close this program, I would like our guests here today to give the final message to our audience. Brother Yusuf, what would you like to say? What are your final words today?
Keep practicing the Arabic alphabet, because you'll start to understand and start to memorize the more you go over them. And in the beginning it may seem difficult. You look at the Quran, you're like, oh, I'm never going to be able to learn this. But the more you practice the Arabic alphabet, the more it'll start to make sense, and then you can piece it together. It's like when you're young in learning English, you learn the alphabet and you're just going, my name is. It's the same with Arabic. After a few months or even a year, depending how long it takes you to learn, you'll be able to do it. Inshallah.
Brother Bilal, your final words?
I have a short message. Make learning the Quran a priority, not a necessity.
Allahu Akbar. Make this your priority, in your daily life, in your schedule that you have, and inshallah you will see it through. Brother Noor, your final message today?
Learning the Quran is a necessity and is a great joy and blessing as part of your Iman and your faith, but have patience. That's the main thing. Have patience when you're starting to learn the Quran and learn the Arabic alphabet, because if you give up, then you're lost. But in order you must continue this your journey of your new faith, then the Arabic language is a necessity.
Subhanallah. Learning Quran indeed is a beautiful journey for a Muslim, and those who are able to recite Quran with tajweed, with essential rules of the Quran, they're very fortunate, they're very lucky, and we pray that especially for the new Muslim community and the Muslims around the world, they get the opportunity as well to feel the taste of correct recitation of the glorious Quran. One suggestion that I would like to make today for the viewers is that in this day and age where we've got a lot of technology with us, there are a lot of tools available that can assist us to be able to recite the Quran fluently. One of them is make a habit of reciting, of listening to the Quran as well. In particular, Surah Fatiha, the opening chapter. Make a habit of listening to it. And similarly, if you want, the last 10 chapters of the Quran, listen to those in recitation as well. And even if you keep one chapter, one surah, for the whole week, and you keep listening to it, go 30, 50 times, and by the time that you master it, then you move on to the next surah. By this, within 10 weeks or so, you'll be able to recite 10 different chapters of the glorious Quran, and you'll be able to recite it fluently as well, inshallah. I hope this program was helpful, it was beneficial for all of us here, inshallah, and those who are watching. Please keep connected with Madani channel. Wherever you go, keep safe and protected. Keep yourself under the shade of understanding the Quranic studies. Be under the guidance of Islamic scholars. Look after yourself. Next week, next time, we will come again with a new topic, with a new matter to discuss.
Thank you, Allah, for blessing me with Islam. Thank you, Allah, for blessing